What if I told you we're back? On this very night, 1 year ago, we listened to Pink Floyd's Atom Heart Mother, Side 1. Now we've finally made a comeback right to where we belong at Side 2. And make sure you stay tuned until the end of this video to get the complete rating of this entire album, factoring in opinions and feelings on Side 1 as well. And if you haven't already, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and you turn on that notification bell because I don't want you to miss out on the party that we've got going on over here. And I just quickly wanted to share with you guys that in a surprising Saharan twist of events, parts of the Saharan desert recently experienced rare flooding after heavy rainfall drenched southeastern Morocco. Now, there's a mixed bag of good and bad that comes from this. It's true that there are damages to infrastructure due to a lack of a need of preparation for this kind of weather. But on the flip side, there is a replenishment of a scarce source. Also, and this could just be my opinion, but I feel that it's undeniable that some of these photos reveal a stunning vision of paradise. What do you think? With all that being said, let's just jump back into the world of Pink Floyd and be flooded by the Pink Floydian sounds of Atom Heart Mother with track 1 on side 2, If. There's this subtle, simple, and classic beauty being drawn from this guitar and the way it's playing the chords. The broken chords really are reminiscent of songs like Ave Maria and of Hallelujah. So also we have this like
divinely heavenly vibe going on.
And then if we dive into these lyrics, I feel like it's revealing so many schools of thought around the whole if of it all, right? Like if could stand for the land of possibilities. If I had X, I could do Y. If is endless possibilities. But I've also heard that if doesn't count, which is well reflected in the first line. If I were a swan, I'd be gone. If I were a train, blah, blah, blah. Like those don't count because you're not. You know, if it has to be, then it is not. But then the last line reveals another school of thought with if, which I think is going to be the central theme in this song. It truly centers around regret. If I were a better man, I'd talk to you more often. Sounds like shame, guilt, and regret to me.
If I were a sleep dream,
Beautiful.
please don't put your wire.
I love the mixing in this emerging electric guitar. It feels very subdued and buried into the sound, and it provides this visual of like a distant glare over the simplicity and the acoustic stripped beauty that's going on with the guitars that we already have and the sustained device that's allowing all the notes to be held out, and then the way that the vocals are delivered so gently and so fragile.
I would bend this between friends. Would alone, I would cry if I go insane.
That's just a musical levitation that can only be fostered by a seventh. I really appreciate how we circled back and concluded the song the same way it began. I think I know of another musical artist who does that. Not gonna name names or anything, but I'll let you guess who it is. But the whole reason I love this particular callback is because of the different schools of thought of ifs that we explored, because we started exploring some ifs that exist in the potential, right? Like the potential of the future if this happens, something that is likely to happen, and the result and the ramifications of what would happen if something were to happen. And then I love how we tied back into the whole idea of the regret, because there is this deep guilt, heaviness, and shame throughout this song, and it's portrayed so beautifully. I feel like all the complex feelings of the narrator of this song is reflected in the musicality and the instrumentation, specifically looking at the differing and contrasting guitars with the two differing sounds. We have that simplicity and the softness in the acoustic guitars, the more simple and steady guitars. I feel like that symbolizes being stuck. like being left out of something. And what's really sad is that it feels like what the narrator is being left out of is his own life due to his own doing, his own missteps. And then that's where the regret comes in. The regret comes in because it's like, oh, if I wouldn't have done that, then I would have this. And then that distant electric guitar that's like this distant glare is the if of regret, looking at what life could have been like if he had been better. But that is still only in the distance. And that's tying back in the whole idea of if doesn't count. All you could do is see it from a distance. It just exists in your mind, and you are still here stuck in that being on the outside feeling. At number 2, we have Summer 68, which is quite curious considering that is the summer right before Summer of 69, another great song. I love being heralded in by a beautiful piano. It's just, you have this gleam peering through, coming through the pitches of the organ notes. And even though it's so full of brightness, it also has a similar timidness as the percussion right now. It's almost hushed. Horn section was definitely something powerful. Gave me some serious Penny Lane deja vu. There's just so much drama incorporated in that brass section. It feels like this solemn march. It almost has the same intensity and exuberance as a celebratory, victorious section will be, but we truly hear that lack of joyous cheer, and little incorporations of things add to that cloud of dreariness that we have. Like there's this little back and forth half notes that provide this chromatic dissonant action. Leads us into an explosion that just dies on impact into a minor deflation. Those harmonies are just chilling. It goes right into my bones, this feeling that I only get with chamber music. It's something medieval. A bit villain-coded, very Beatle-esque. At a certain point, I forgot that we were in Pink Floydian territory, and I just thought we were here listening to a Beatles song, a Beatles album, and that is always a good sign. I am never going to complain about that. At track 3 and second to last, we have Fat Old Sun, and looking at the title alone, that makes me wonder a few things before going into this. Are we going to lean heavily into the majors, right, for this sunshiny effect? And it is possible that it could be the perspective on Earth of what the sun does for us, right? Like the sun, daylight, something like that. Or we could possibly have an intergalactic cosmic adventure, an astronomical trek to the sun, since the sun exists in outer space. So I wonder if they're going to take us on that interstellar journey. Who knows?
When that fat old sun the sound of music, distant the river, holding hands.
I have a few different things going on. So if you look just solely at the lyrics, it feels like we're looking from Earth's perspective of the sun, right? What the sun does for Earth. But if you take a look at the sound, or listen to the sound rather, you know, we have a gentleness that could be from Earth, right? And we have an acoustic nature, very grounded, very earthly. But then we have in the background a distant haze, a vagueness, coming from an electronic source. And then once those organ pitches came through, I knew some activity, some otherworldly ethereal activity was going on. Do have a bit of a major focus, right? So that's another prediction that could be checked off. Here we go. Line can be drawn from the last section to this one by a minor fall from Grace and a little more reliance on some minor chords and sounds. And then towards the end, we really got that sour pinch. It feels like we had some sort of drowsy eeriness, a little dreary. Rock and roll. I love this paradoxical effect that seems to be a running theme here, starting the song the same way it ends, so it's like a loop within itself. I'm not sure if I could declare with a chest full of conviction that this was a true intergalactic experience. I don't know if it was cosmic, and I don't know if we existed in the astros with this one in the way we have in the past with Pink Floyd, but it definitely transported me into an ethereal land of rock and roll. Número 4 y último, Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast. Sounds like a faucet is leaky, or like these little water droplets are falling down, smacking some surface.
Oh, flakes. Oh, marmalade. I like marmalade.
Sort of canon action going on where we have this little melody that's introduced with the piano, and then that same exact melody is repeated and played over top, just like at a delayed moment, so it kind of like clashes with each other because it's not in sync, it's far behind, but it's really, really interesting. It's very classical. All these contrasting and truly battling lines of music, because they all are so forward in the mixing and in the composition, where it feels like each one is a solo, like each one is its own theme. It feels like it's creating this atmosphere of confusion, putting us in that mindset of psychedelic, this psychedelic experience while he's having breakfast.
This world of confusion and chaos, and nothing is right, and things are being warped, and nothing is what it seems.
And up is down and left is right, but you don't know where right is or where left is. Actually anxiety inducing. High-pitched shriek kind of imitates like a tea kettle just going off.
Breakfast in Los Angeles. Microbiotic stuff.
The tea is being poured now. Love the gentle touch with which the guitars are being played. It's so beautiful and comforting. I honestly can't make out like the particular words that are being spoken here, but I do hear that some of it is overlapping and being repeated and stuff. So I wonder if that's like the cycle of thought of this psychedelic experience, like all the thoughts collide, or things that you hear kind of clash with one another, and you start to lose the sense of chronological time, like things are just either happening at the same time, or what happened first happened second, like it's just all out of order. Feels like we're in this perpetual state of build. Like these cadences feel like leading tones. It feels like we're going somewhere. We're constantly reaching. Is that water being poured or a standing ovation? Is that a crowd applauding? Oh, okay, it's just some liquid being poured, I think. Okay, I get it. I get it. That ending was like the cleanup, which could stand to symbolize like washing dishes, or putting them in the dishwasher, something like that was water. But I think that it was intentional, the fact that it could be perceived as a standing ovation, because both things come at the end of both experiences, because this was the whole performance of a mundane breakfast, right? Something as a daily event, something that is just this occurrence that happens in everyday life as breakfast. It has this whole performative aspect to it. It has a beginning, middle, and end. Wow, this entire album is so underrated. I feel like no one ever talks about this album. I always hear about some of my favorite albums of all time are the Pink Floyd albums I hear a lot about. The Wall, Wish You Were Here is a very special album to me and always will be, and it came at a time that I really needed it. And then The Dark Side of the Moon is just going to be a special album for every single human being out there for the rest of the time, and that's understandable because I'm one of those people. And Animals. And Animals I feel like is a bit more on the underrated side. I think it does get its flowers, don't get me wrong. I just feel like it's not as talked about as the other three, but Atom Heart Mother is definitely not talked about in the way that it should be, in my opinion. So a drum roll, please. Our collective rating for the entire Atom Heart Mother album is... Whoa, this is a big moment. I think this is our first full album rating, and I'm going to give it a 9.4. 9.4. That sounds like a radio station. Now is the moment of all moments, a monumental thank you and all of our love, my entire heart, for our donation superheroes. You guys are incredible. Thank you so very dearly and so deeply, Ann Cat Dubh, Marissa Martinez, Kevan Corkill, Dean Jarva, and Ed Myers. Love you to the moon and back. Here's a very special number dedicated just for you. Spend all my seconds to see your smile, and I'd spend all my minutes to talk for a while. An unlimited plan to take you by the hand, let you know wherever you are, that's where I'll stand. Spend all my hours to watch you soar. I'd spend all my years and ask for more time together. I beg on my knees for forever with you. And our ultimately highlighted donation hero today is Ann Cat Dubh. Here's a very special number just for you. Ann Cat Dubh, I can't count the ways in which you lift me up out of the blue, up off of the ground. And when I'm all the way down, you turn things around. Now I see colors so vividly, and all of these wonders surrounding me. You're a wonder. a star, a marble by far. You're priceless to me. Remember, our donation heroes have top priority for recommendations, so keep your suggestions coming in. I love hearing them. If you would like to become a donation hero, you can click the link in the description below, and that'll take you to my website. You can leave the donation there. I will see you guys tomorrow, and until then, take it easy.